Donny, I kind of like the music.
I know. It gets you in the groove, doesn't it?
Welcome to another edition of Insurance Question Podcast. 148. Oh, you can hear our live feed. Hold on. I think I just time traveled, Don. Whoa. I don't know what's going on. Did you hear me talking? That wasn't even me. That was Doppelganger Eddie.
Oh,
So all the comments and statements by Eddie Buffalo and Donny Lowe are purely for entertainment purposes. What will happen on today's exciting episode? Will Eddie time travel again? Will Donny give out tips to pickleballing? Will Sassy Sarah show up and slap the crap out of everybody? Stay tuned. Find out for another exciting issue of Insurance Question Podcast 149. Don, holy cow, 149.
one away from the big 150. Isn't that amazing? But before we go on,
go ahead. I just want to ask you real quick, how does it feel that the podcast is almost going to be the same age as you?
Isn't that amazing?
All right, go ahead. Do your shizzy.
So wherever you're viewing this or listening, please like and more importantly, subscribe so we can continue to feed you these wonderfully entertaining experiences, and hit that fan mail button so that you can correspond with us. We really do like responding to questions or comments, so feel free to do that. And TikTokers, Eddie is really, it's so funny because he was very hesitant to start with TikTok. And we said, you know what? He said, well, what if the government bans it by the end of the year? I said, well, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. Let's at least try it. And he's really, I think he's getting addicted to it. So
what if they ban Donny Lowe? What if the government bans you?
Then we're all in trouble.
Yes.
So we appreciate you is what I'm a long-winded way of saying that. So thank you.
All right, taking my head off. I'm too hot. I'm going to look like Donny Lowe on this show. It's the Bald Guy Podcast. How are you? Good.
Uncle Fester.
I know, right? Why don't we put our
I love
heads
the Bill's hat, though. That's an awesome hat.
Why don't we put our heads together, Don, and make an ass out of ourselves?
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, right. Hear that old joke?
Oh, that's enough. That's enough for a Potluck Thursday.
I know, right? Yeah. So, what are you going to talk about today, Don?
Well, there is so much going on in the world, in the country and the world. I thought we would just kind of just touch upon some of the things that are going on, So obviously, with Milton, the big hurricane that really blew through Florida the last night, just unbelievable. And I think what also is amazing, I don't want to say unprecedented, but almost unprecedented, is the amount of tornadoes that happened. And I know that so far confirmed 4 people have passed because of the tornado, not the hurricane.
Well, I don't know if you're near a TV right now, Don, but I got CNN on my monitor on my desk. And they're outside of a nursing home. It's so unsafe inside that they have all the residents sitting outside in the sweltering heat.
Oh, my goodness. Well, do you know what city that's in?
No. I guess there was 135 people at this place. Oh, I got to tell you, some of the video last night was ridiculous. I was going back and forth between Fox, the Weather Channel, and CNN. And CNN, by far, had the best coverage. But who the heck did Anderson Cooper piss off? Because that boy looked like he was about to blow away. Did you see his face? Did you see any of that audio and video?
I saw some where he got hit by some flying debris in the face.
Oh, I was waiting for that. I didn't see that part. It must have been earlier because he had a big red mark on his face.
Oh, maybe you saw it afterwards then.
And it was ridiculous because at one point you got the camera looking at it. And I'm sure they couldn't use a tripod because it was so windy in there. All of a sudden you say whoosh, and the camera goes to the side. He didn't fall all the way down, but I'm sure he took a little tumble because I mean, they had some poor female reporter on, and she was getting blown around.
Oh,
Like she was not a big woman, so I mean, you would have been like flying out in Tampa Bay,
it's true. It's
you know.
I heard so on the radio this morning too. They were playing audio of somebody that was in their car,
Hmm.
and it was 120-mile-an-hour winds. It was so loud.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
you can't even imagine. So for
No, I can't imagine either.
I lived with my family in Florida for 1 year, and they were showing a lot on TV, like Sarasota. We lived near Sarasota, Bradenton area. We down in Venice. We were in Tampa. Just like driving all over the place while we were down there, and it's just crazy to see, like downtown Sarasota. Siesta Key was the where landfall occurred, where the eye of the hurricane
Well,
was.
it was crazy, Don, because yesterday we were talking on the show. I said my cousin Sharon's in West Palm. She should be okay. They had 90-mile-an-hour winds too.
Yeah, they caught on the tail end of it. Daytona
It's like,
Beach also got
God,
hit hard. We've got friends and family in Orlando area. They said it was they couldn't. They've been in Florida for like 30 years. They've never seen anything with the wind, and luckily, no flooding for them, no damage. So they kind of escaped, which was great. But yeah,
I
just
saw a lot
devastating.
of the comments I saw, Don. They're like, "We're not leaving. We just left 2 weeks ago. Where are we going to leave to? There's no place to go." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Wow, that's just such a harsh reality." And there's two storm fronts brewing in the Bahamas right now, right behind these two. It's like, holy crap!
I know, and I don't know where they're going to hit. The one, it looks like, at least early projections. So you better brace yourself. It's going to be almost to Texas, but it looks like Louisiana and Alabama is where it's going to be heading. But I mean, it's still
That's
early,
insane.
so who knows, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, we
So
were we were watching Weather Channel as well, and one of the meteorologists was out there in Port Charlotte area. It's kind of like Port
mhm.
Charlotte, Punta Gorda, a little bit north of Fort Myers, and he was in a parking garage, and the cars
I
were on the
saw that.
second level. Did you see that?
Did you see
So,
the supports were falling down?
oh yes, it's crazy. But he was at, it's called Sunseekers Resort. That's a brand new resort. I think it just opened earlier this year,
Not anymore.
and I mean it's getting hit. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy.
It was interesting to see as you're watching these, and I'm always worried about Paula out on my porch. Paula, the queen mom that lives on my porch. But I mean, you were watching these things whipping like crazy, and those palm trees were just like, okay, yep, it's going through my hair. I'm all right. I'm all good. You know,
It is amazing, isn't it?
the two of the most craziest things that they were showing is that the Tampa Ray baseball field, their
The
roof gone, gone.
Yeah. So when they announced yesterday that they were going to have the Tropicana Field stadium
They were
as
using it as a staging area.
a staging area for all the workers, so they had cots and
Not
everything. And
anymore.
when I heard that, I was thinking, man, I don't know if I would, trust the roof of that building. I've driven by it many times. I was there for a game a while ago. It's pretty cool, but I was like, I don't know. And then I heard that. It's like,
As always, there's a Buffalo connection, Don. I don't know if they did that stadium roof, but Bird Air did a
oh,
lot of the stadium roofs, and that's a Buffalo-owned company.
yeah, yeah. It
I
was a
always,
Buffalo company. Yeah,
I can always picture when Minnesota got all that snow and their football stadium, the dome collapsed
yeah,
under all the weight of the snow. It was just amazing, but they fixed that pretty darn quick.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I at that time, when that happened, I know the project manager that was he had to go out there and see what happened, and get everything back up and running, so to speak. Um, But yeah, so this is crazy. I'm sure we're going to hear more stories today. Now that daylight is here, where
I'm sure we're going to see some horrific pictures, unfortunately.
yeah,
Pray for everybody out there.
I
If you have
know.
friends or family, or even if you don't, still pray for these folks because they're going through hell on earth right this morning. Did you
Yeah,
see the construction crane?
yes, yes,
It
and
finally collapsed.
yeah, and I know
Showed the debris.
they tried to
Go ahead.
hunker it down. Um,
How? Why didn't you just take the damn thing out if you
I
knew
don't
it
know
was
if they
coming?
had time. I don't know why they didn't take it down. So they tried to really strap it down somehow. But obviously, when you're hitting 100-mile-an-hour winds or 120-mile-an-hour winds,
Well, they were talking about stuff that I never really thought about. That, I mean, the wind and the debris and everything is one thing, but you don't know what's in this water, whether it be animals, sharks,
Mhm.
or alligators, or toxic chemicals. Like, I didn't even realize because the water was so saturated that a lot of septic tanks got taken out of the ground and they floated away.
Oh, really?
So even if it is all fresh water from the regular rain and not the salt water from the bay, God only knows what's in there. They
Yeah.
said even gas stations, a lot of times their tanks will rupture just from all the wind and everything. It's just like, holy cow. I'm looking at something right now, and the guy's on Church Street, wherever that is, whatever city this is, and like everything's knocked over. The traffic lights and everything. I mean, they're just laying like diagonal over the street. But there's a
Mhm.
palm tree saying, "Yeah, I'm badass. I'm sitting here. I'm palm tree.
Although,
What? Little rain? I don't care."
yeah, although I did see it was in Sarasota, and I don't know exactly. I think it was near the harborfront area of Sarasota. I did see a palm tree go down. They had that
Really?
on camera. Yeah, which was, they do fall occasionally, but yeah, so I did see that. Just
I just thought it
crazy.
was crazy that they had Anderson Cooper out in that. It's like, here's a guy making millions of dollars, and you think, hey, do me a favor, go right in the middle of the biggest hurricane this century. Can you do that for me? Donny, do me a
Sure.
favor, go down there, find a big tree and just hold on to it, and hopefully you'll be okay.
I know.
He looked so mad. He had a baseball cap on, for the longest time. He's like, and then I said, and blah, 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 blah. And then the next time they came back from a commercial, no hat. It was gone.
No, it blew. I saw that on camera. It blew
Oh, did
away.
it really?
Yeah.
See, I must have missed it when I was going back and forth, you know. But that's
Yeah.
crazy. But like they were even talking about how it's not only affecting people, but goofy stuff like sports. I guess that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers left on Tuesday for
Yeah.
their game in Philadelphia just so they would get out.
No, New Orleans, isn't it? New Orleans,
Oh, New Orleans. I'm sorry. Yes, you're
right?
right. I don't know why I was
New
thinking Philly.
Orleans.
Is
New
maybe the
Orleans.
hockey team's playing in Philly.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure.
I don't remember
No.
because their season's about to
Yeah,
start too,
maybe.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it did. I think the Florida Panthers played, but I'm not sure if they were in Boston or at home. And they play out of Fort Lauderdale area.
I mean, what was crazy too? Did you see how the garbage totes were just flying all over the place?
Uh, Not only garbage totes, the dumpsters.
I saw
So,
that.
somebody said, I didn't see it, but somebody said there was a dumpster that flew on top of a house. It was on the roof
Now
of a house.
I'm looking at Fort Myers. I don't know if you've been there before, but
Oh
remember the
yeah.
pier? I mean, the pier got wiped out last year or the year before, and right now I'm looking at that
Damn.
same stretch of road heading down to the beach, and that's all underwater.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
who
Just
knows what's in there?
I know. I know.
What was really
Sanibel Island got
crazy,
hit again.
and I might be misquoting this here, but I think it was the mayor of Tampa said, "Do us a favor if you're going to stay, get a Sharpie, put all your information on your arm for when we find your body." I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Several said that. I think one of the sheriffs in it might have been Lee County, which is where Fort Myers is. I think he said the same
Now,
thing.
is this the first time there was that many tornadoes involved in a thing like this?
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what when I mentioned that. It's almost unprecedented to have that many tornadoes. And a tornado, you can't say, well, it's going to hit here, here, or there. It's just like they can give you a general area,
Yeah.
and that's what happened, unfortunately.
What a mess. What a mess.
Yeah,
Well, our thoughts and prayers are out to everybody in Florida this morning, and be safe out there.
yeah,
Yeah. What I thought was really crazy, and it kind of made sense, but it didn't. That a lot of these people, like I said, they said, "Where are we going to go?" Most of these places, there's nothing left to go to. And then the one woman was like, "You know what? If I left my house and I couldn't get there for a couple weeks, it's going to get moldy and it's going to become unlivable."
yeah,
I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, you can say one thing, the heat in Texas and the blizzards in Buffalo, but man, living through this, that's like living hell on earth.
yeah. It really is.
It
You
really
know,
is. So, all
unfortunately.
right, let's get on to some happy stuff. What are you going to talk
Well,
about today, Donnie
well,
Lowe?
I just wanted to talk about like so obviously with Hurricane Milton, 10 days or 2 weeks ago, Hurricane Helene and how it affected Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and they're still trying to, grapple with what's going on there. Um, the election is less than a month away now, the big election. We've got, I don't know if you heard about this or not, in Wyoming, there are wildfires, and so far, like
Yeah, you're hearing about
75,000
that.
acres, exactly because of everything else that's going on. There's 75,000 acres that are destroyed, and that fire's still spreading. They've got like over 800 firefighters trying to battle this thing,
That's
and
insane.
you don't hear about it, you know.
No,
And there's also talk of internationally with Israel, how they're going to respond back to Iran. So you know, I'm just thinking, well, another day or so, people are going to forget about what just happened in Florida. People don't even know about what's going on in Wyoming.
yeah, yeah. It's the first
And
I've heard of it, and I keep up pretty good on the news.
yeah,
And then,
so
and then the most important thing, what wide receiver are the Buffalo Bills going to get done?
yeah,
Let's talk
exactly.
about real important stuff. Yeah, and that's ridiculous because people talk like that are like,
Yeah,
oh, you know what, Coach McDermott, you got to get him out of there. He's making
I
dumb
know. And
mistakes.
there's
Yeah, he's only got you to the playoffs 7 of the last 8 years. So shut up, shut
yeah.
up. You know. So,
But
but
people will say, well, he can't take you to that next level, So I don't
mhm.
know what's going to happen there. But
Well, you got to make tough decisions in life. Like you left your world of tennis to be a professional pickleball player. I get it. You didn't want to do it, but I mean, your talent took you there, Don. So you
I'm
had to
always
do it.
starting over. I'm always starting over.
Yeah. So we got a good response from that the other day on you and Bex
Oh,
for
great.
that show. Are you looking forward to it?
Very much so. Very much so. It'd be
Now, have you
nice.
guys come up with a start date or what day of the week it's going to be on?
Not yet. Not yet. So I know that Bex has some things going on that she's got to get organized with, and then we'll figure all that out. But
Yeah, because
by the end of this month.
like I said, we have a lot of fans from this show. We're making some headway with the boxing show. And I actually think that your show with Bex is going to be gangbusters. I think I have never heard a response like this that people are saying what a great idea it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean,
just think they think it's a great idea, and then you can say that's a great question. And then you'll have a bunch of drunk people watching that show now too because they're waiting for you to do shots.
hey, whatever it takes.
You know.
So did you
But
hear about the consumer CPI, consumer price index? They came out with this morning as far as
I'm
inflation?
afraid to ask you, Don. You're so full of sunshine and happiness this morning.
Well, there's so much going on in the world, so and the country, so all this stuff is getting missed, right? So it was about 2.25 or 2.5%. It was a little bit higher than what they thought, the inflation rate. And so, the thought is, okay, what is the Fed going to do? Are they going to try to hold tight? Are they going to lower the rates?
Yeah.
Increase the rates, the Fed fund rates? There's all of that going on. How's it going to impact the election? So
They're
there's
showing the
that.
crane right now on CNN, Donny.
What did I show in? Oh, the crane, you said?
And now they're showing the baseball stadium. There's nothing left of that.
That's
There's nothing
crazy.
left of that roof.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Oh.
that. I get distracted, especially when stuff like this.
Oh, look at that shiny little, look at that squirrel over there.
Squirrel. Where?
So there's that going on. There's so much uncertainty going on. There's so much, what we hear about is all the chaos, right? So,
What's crazy, Don? You think people are saying this is the end of the world, everything's going on. You haven't heard about the locust in Texas, have you?
well, only you had mentioned a little bit
Black
about that.
grasshoppers are flipping everywhere.
That's so
You go
crazy.
into like Wally World or Home Depot, because they have the outdoor area, so that's all you hear is crickets. As soon as you walk in the store, it's insane.
And they're black, you said?
Yes, they're about yay big.
Is that like a I don't want to say seasonal thing?
It is.
Like,
it is.
Is this every year or like every couple years?
They said it's really weird because it's been so hot that normally they'll lay their eggs in the fall and they'll come out in the spring. Well, they're all screwed up. I don't know why. And they said this is the worst that they've ever seen it. So we got tornadoes, we got hurricanes, we got locusts now. The end of days, Donny Law. Well, let me tell you what. Put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye.
I hope it's not because too many people are not being good.
Well, I'm good. I can only talk for myself. I try to be a good guy.
I know.
I don't aggravate anybody.
No, no, not at all.
No. But and this can get addictive. I'm watching this right now, and it's like, you got to be kidding me. But it was heartbreaking to see all those older folks out sitting outside of the nursing home, not being able to go in there.
I know.
Oh,
it is sad. I know they rescued.
They're showing the video from last night in St. Petersburg Beach,
Mm-hmm.
and randomly there was a guy standing on the corner. I'm like, what the heck? Now, let me ask you this, Don. It's a natural disaster. Your life insurance is still going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2 questions, and you might not know the answer. We might have to do some research on that. I'm gone. You can't find my body. How long before my insurance pays? And number 2, you did find my body. Like, it happened yesterday. You found my body this morning, crushed under this ridiculous crane here.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take for my insurance to pay out to my family?
So I guess question number 2, I can answer. So as soon as the insurance company is contacted, you need a certificate of death, just to confirm that for the insurance company. The same regular process. It'll pay out real quick, within a week typically. The second
usually
one,
a week to 10 days, and then you're talking business days, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The first question, if you can't find your body, I think it's going to take a little bit longer. So the investigative work.
Whoa! Hold on, Don. The conspiracy queen's about to join us.
Oh no! We'll let her answer that.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome to the stage the sassy one, the sassiest of the sass, the salty, sassy Sarah. Welcome, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good. How about you guys?
We can't hear you. Oh, there you go. And just so everybody knows, the statements and comments by Sassy Sarah are purely for entertainment purposes. So, Conspiracy Chick, is this the end of days? I mean, we got locusts in Texas, tornadoes and hurricanes. We got war in the Middle East. So, let's rip the top off this and hear what Sassy Sarah's got to say about this. Sir.
I know where she's going to go. And I'm not going to
say every day we're just one step closer. So I'm not going to say yes, 100%. It's end of days. Let me pull this a little closer. What I will say is, if people are looking into those things, you have to remember all the prophecies have to be in place before we can say we're in end of times. I will say this is a time to be alive, because a lot of things are being fulfilled as we speak. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Part of me wants to say yes. Part of me wants to say no, because they've been saying that for like freaking ever. But who knows?
So I was thinking you're going with conspiracy corner. I love it.
Oh, no. Trust me, I've watched a lot of conspiracies about it. What's really interesting are the people who use numbers and science and try to tie it into the Bible. I love watching those, but I always fall back to no one knows when it's going to happen. You're always going to see the signs going on. Everybody's always going to think that the ceiling is falling or the clouds falling, whatever. It's always going to be an issue. So it's just one of those of, it's nice to hear about, but I don't really retain the information anymore because there's so many.
I got a new business for you to add to your empire. She called me the other day and I shot her down what she was telling me about, but that's okay. I don't have to.
So Donny, I wanted to tell you, so I'm starting a travel agency more so that I can travel and get commissions.
That's not a dead industry.
There's nothing outside of that. And I mentioned it. I was like, hey, I can bring it on the podcast, give you guys percentages for a certain code. And Eddie's like, that's a dead industry. I'm like, I'm not planning on being a millionaire from this industry. It's literally just so I can travel and get good deals.
Now, do you like milk chocolate, dark chocolate, or white chocolate?
Usually white chocolate is my favorite.
See, what we can do is we can scoop up all those crickets and we'll sell chocolate-covered crickets. And it ain't going to cost us nothing except, our time scooping up the crickets and then pouring all the chocolate on top of it. And when you pour the chocolate on them, are they alive still? That's what I want to know.
I don't think they are, because they have to go through a cleaning process or you're eating dirt and other things. So,
boy, we're going in a direction, certain countries.
My mother always said you eat a bushel of dirt before you die.
I go back to I understand certain cultures eat certain things. There are just things I will not eat, and bugs is on that list. I know it's a great source of protein. I just, unless I'm starving, stuck in the wilderness, I'm never going to get food. I can't hunt. There's no berries to search for. That would literally be a last resort type of situation.
So, when I was a kid, I used to love eating ternina. It was a very sweet borscht with beets in it. And when I found out that it was actually duck's blood soup, I never wanted to have it again. So nasty, right?
Yeah. For me, it's like I said, I know there's cultures, they eat blood, they eat organs, they eat bugs. They eat animals that I wouldn't probably eat. If I didn't know, I'd probably be fine with it. But it's just that mental block of I'm not used to it. I didn't grow up that way. It would be hard.
So I'm watching video right now of shopping centers in the Florida area. And the roofs did not get ripped off, but they were so saturated with water that wherever the air conditioning units were, collapsed all the roofs.
Really?
So they're going to be talking about this forever.
Yeah. Do you know what area of Florida that is?
This guy's coming from Clearwater right now.
Okay.
I mean, all you
Oh,
see
and
is
it spawned
mud on the
tornadoes.
street. What's that?
The hurricane spawned tornadoes.
We were just
Yeah, we were
talking
talking about that.
Yeah.
I don't know why when I think of hurricanes, I don't think tornadoes accompany them. So every time I hear that, I'm like, wait, a tornado? That's not supposed to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got something to do with because of the pressure, the barometric pressure, and the heat, and the way the heat rises and everything.
It's wild because half the street is dry and like dry mud, and the rest of the street, like the water's up to your window.
Yeah.
I mean, even the
Well-
SUVs, it's up to the top of their wheel wells.
Well, and I don't notice that there is, and I know it's still a while away. I saw a death toll of only 6. I mean, granted, that's horrible,
Unfortunately, it's going to climb.
but that's my biggest thing is I hope it's not. I hope a lot of people evacuated because, yeah, it stinks when you lose your house and all your things and everything's devastated like that. But it's
so
worse
horrible.
when lives are lost because those
course.
things can't be replaced.
They have like a bunch of first responders, and they're having a meeting before they move into this area. Probably, well, don't you remember during Katrina, I had some friends that actually did the cleanup in New Orleans. And when they would find a dead body, they would just put an X on the house.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you couldn't move them. Where are you going to put them?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was a very bad hurricane too. Especially you got a city which is below sea level next to the Gulf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying right now that even the people that did say they're evacuating them out now because their homes are unlivable.
Mm.
So whether he stayed or went, you're still homeless.
Yeah.
Well, and if anybody, I know this is live, if anybody knows of any local, because I haven't heard anything about any local Texas charities or people that are going from Texas out there to help clean up, send that to Eddie. Because I haven't heard about them. So
over the past couple of days, Governor Abbott's been talking about sending resources to the area from Texas. But tell you,
because it's definitely something I would want to go help with.
Mm-hmm. So you don't got nothing happy to talk about, then?
Well, what I was going to say is, through all this doom and gloom, and I mean, we're just bombarded with all this stuff every single day, and it's magnified now because of the hurricane. It's going to switch to something else tomorrow. And then next week it'll be something else, and the election is going to be behind everything, until we get through November, and then depending on who wins, who knows what's going to happen then, But
yeah,
it's we can control what we can control. We can react to things that we can control. So we just have to remember we can't get so bogged down that we're going to be so negative about everything, and let's maintain a positive attitude moving forward. Hey, yeah, this is broken. What can I do to fix it? My family needs me to do this. I'm going to do this.
And please don't be ostriches. Don't stick your head in the sand saying, well, I'm good. I don't know what's going on in the world. I don't care about that.
Well, and so here's something else I was going to mention is it's a conspiracy theory. You got to live up to the new nickname. But basically, they always say a lot of things start happening around times that the governments, and I put S, plural, governments, try to distract us from what goes on. And I've noticed trends of the job market somehow gets better, inflation goes down, gas gets better, all around the election time. It's usually in the middle when it gets the worst. And so, not saying I mean, again, I could go to the conspiracy theories, and they have weather making machines. I don't know how much I believe in that.
That's where I thought you were going to go earlier.
No.
Sassy Sarah is a super villain.
I hear that a lot, and I'm just kind of like, I could see why it got started. Like, you would think, hey, the government really wants you to rely on them. They want to devastate, blah, 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 whatever you want to say. I could see it. But I guess I just don't want to believe that is accurate. Just because it wants to be queen of the world. I do not. That is way too much responsibility, and you have to act a certain way, and that is way beyond my skill set.
How about that? You want to be queen of Eddie's world?
Oh, nobody wants to do that. No. I know a young lady that would like to be queen of Eddie's world, but she's a strong girl, so she'll be okay. What was I going to say? Now you want to go down the rabbit hole of conspiracies, Sarah. I don't know if this is the same for you, Don. I know in later years they talked about it. That when I started in the insurance business, they said, "Oh, we're in trouble. It's such an older population and all this and that. There's going to be more older people than there are going to be younger people." And well, then came the pandemic, took out a lot of old folks. And then you have all these natural disasters taking out more old folks. So I don't hear them talking about that anymore, Don. Not to be a wise guy, but it's the truth.
No, that is true. Yeah, that's true. I think that whole landscape for insurance and that's changing, but I think we're going to see rapid changes over the next couple of years.
I think so too. Because I know a couple of the guys were talking at the gym, I think it was yesterday or today, how a lot of people's homeowners got canceled by companies that did not want to do work in Florida any longer.
Yep. They pulled right out.
So I don't know how true this is, but I'm sure they're paying a premium price for insurance to protect all their stuff. And I mean, if you're paying that much for that and you're paying for your car insurance, I'm sure you got to pay for flood insurance. I mean, because no matter where you are, it looks like they're getting flooded.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I know because my husband was told this by one of his insurance agents. When you start seeing rates go up everywhere, it's because that insurance company wants to pull out of that market. So it'll be like 3, 4, 5 times what it should be, is because they want you to go somewhere else.
That's true.
I'll never forget when we first moved into our home in South Buffalo. We moved in the summer, but we got a brand new fridge. So I was hooking up the ice maker, and my one daughter was helping me. And we had people over that night, and she ran downstairs to get. She goes, "Dad, there's water." I'm like, that's pretty funny. Yeah, thinking she's being a wise guy, but the clean water coming into the house broke and was pouring into my basement. So I had a flood rider, and it paid me. But get this. So it paid me out, and then the next month, my insurance premium tripled.
The next month?
They wanted to get rid of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. So that's scary, especially when so many people are going to be going through, insurance claims and things like that. I mean, doing death claims. I mean, imagine going through this, Don, going through something horrible like this, and then you also have to worry about burying a loved one.
I know.
I can't imagine that. My heart goes out to these folks.
I know.
So, like we said, keep your thoughts and prayers going for the people that are affected by what happened in the past couple of days, because nobody should have to go through that. So,
no, exactly. I think the housing market is obviously going to be affected big time in Florida. You'll probably see values decreasing big time, is my guess. So,
well, we are coming to Sassy Sarah's spectacular favorite time of 40 minutes. So I think
tell me how you really feel, because it sounds like you're trying to be passive aggressive, sir.
Yeah. Sir.
So
we're going to wrap this up today. depending on how things are happening in the world, we might have a show tomorrow. We're not too sure. We usually take Fridays off. I'm wondering if you and Bex, that'd be a good idea to have your shows on Friday.
I was thinking that, but I wanted to see what's conducive to her schedule.
Yeah,
That's
you can get with
not a
her
bad idea.
and find that out. But once again, if you like working with people that are just like you, we're the people to see. www.ebis insurance.com. Oh, I didn't even put my thing up today, Don.
Mhm.
Dang it all.
There it is.
EddieBenders@gmail.com, and our hotline is 716-541-4118. We want to thank everybody for joining us, and please, we pray, and we have your loved ones in our thoughts.
Yes.
And if you just need somebody to talk to, you can always reach out to us also. So for Eddie Buffalo, Donny Lowe, and the sassiest of all who wants to be the queen of the world, Sassy Sarah, we are out of here. And we will see you Tuesday for number 150. Sarah, what do you got planned for that fantastic
That is
show?
a lot. 150. I'm going to have to come up with something amazing, aren't I?
All right, we better get your thinking cap on. So everybody, stay safe. Have a good weekend. Remember, life's worth living. Be good to yourself and keep punching. All right, take care, everyone.
Ciao.
See how long it takes for us to stop.